Greetings, this is Skyler Saunders seeing what's current. Top story I wanted to talk about today was something that I'm doing right now. I'm going notes free. I studied the stories, I read enough information, but I didn't write anything down just for this broadcast, just for this purpose. Lil Wayne admits he definitely says that Jay-Z inspired him to not write down any of his lyrics. Now, I think this is late news or it's been recycled because he said this many times before, I think. But it's made headlines once again for what reason I know not. But I always say that Jay-Z is Michael Jordan and Lil Wayne is Kobe Bryant. In a lot of ways, you have to understand what I'm saying when I say that, because Jay-Z is like the blueprint, and Lil Wayne is the house. He's the object that produced from the original sketches of what Jay-Z, laid the foundation for. Lil Wayne took it upon himself to be the best rapper alive since the best rapper retired. And that's going back 20 years when Jay-Z said he was going to retire from rap. And of course, he came back wearing the 4-5. It was a totally different time period, but Jay-Z, inspired Lil Wayne. He gave him his wings in a sense to, go without writing. But Jay-Z has chided joked in certain instances, saying, he's inspired a generation of bad writers because you're not seeing your words on the paper. You're not seeing your words written down. You're just going off the top of your head like it's a freestyle. But Jay-Z has the poise and the gravitas and the seriousness to say that he can go on a track without any pen or pad. Not a lot of rappers can do that or should do that. They should be able to see their writing in, a visual form and know what they're going to say on the production. And you have a lot of people that are hating just to hate, I think, in my opinion. They're saying, and that's the reason why Lil Wayne hasn't had good music since 2008. Since 2008, that's almost 20 years ago. That was 15 years ago. 2008? Really? And you have something like Green Light? Or not? Oh, see, that's why I gotta mess up. I mess up the bars. Hold on. Seeing Green. Excuse me, not Green Light. Seeing Green. See, I messed up the bar. See, I can't. I gotta write down myself. See, that's exactly the reason why. That's the exact reason why you should write down your stuff. Because there was a song called "Seeing Green" with Nicki Minaj and Drake, and they have great collaborations together ever since 2008. They had a great collaboration, and I think it was in 13 or 14, with No Fraud. They had different collaborations with Only with Chris Brown. They had a collaboration. I'm trying to think of it right now. I'm going to look for it because even though I didn't write it down, I need to look for it. Yeah. I gotta find it. Truffle Butter, of course, the classic song that spawned a million memes and different interpretations of what exactly they mean by truffle butter, But Wayne has been fire. He's been putting out heat ever since and past 2008, way past 2008. He's been putting out super heat, flames, fire. He's not running. The thing is, he's been, he's definitely an aficionado of the ganja And if you don't know what I mean, he's a heavy weed smoker. He's a weed head. And so that affects his memory. And so without his songs being written down, he has to consult paper and pen, or print out his lyrics from the internet and have them manifest into his performances. He uses them to, bring about his live sets. So it's kind of ironic in a way because he's not writing it down, but he still has to use the written word in order to interpret what he's going to say on stage. I'm not sure if it's like that in the booth. I'm not sure if he's like that in the recording studio. But he admitted, I think it was on Jimmy Fallon's show, how he was going over his words, backstage. He was asking for printouts from the internet to see what was going on. Chris Cager in the building. He says Lil Wayne overrated. I have to disagree with you, sir. I have to disagree with you. He's top rated. He's one of the best ever to do it. He's one of the best to ever do it. He's definitely one of the best to ever bless a mic. Pause. All right, all right. I gotta make sure I have this down right. I have my mic sound nice. Nobody's watching right now. So in the meantime, in between times, I got one like. All right. Chris Cager, if you came back, I have to say, respect tonight's poll. Thank you. So I mean, it's all on it's all on his shoulders. Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne is putting out heat. It seems like he fell off because there's such an influx of different rappers, especially the drill rappers. Like I said, yesterday, G Herbo or Herbo, however you pronounce his name. I don't want to disrespect the young man. Lil Bibby, Lil Mouse, the Lils. He used to be Lil. You have the whole scenes. You have Mozzie, Lil Mozzie. You have people like you have the females. You have Megan Thee Stallion. You got Ice Spice. You got Coi Leray. You got so many other people coming in the game that it seems like Lil Wayne fell off, when in fact he's only gotten better. He's a punching rapper. He's a punching rapper, overrated. He is more than a punching rapper. He's a skilled lyricist. Chris Cager. Skilled lyricist. Sir. So, anybody trying to say otherwise, you're hating. I'm sorry. I gotta say, Chris Cager, respect the tonight's goal, but you might be hating, sir. You might need to check how you approach Mr. Wayne, because he's a future Hall of Famer. He's going to be in the books, not too distant from now. If not, his I think it was 500 Degrees was his first album. And that came out what? I gotta look that up. Hold on. 500 Degrees. When did that come out? That came out July 23rd, 2002. So it was his third studio album. His third studio album. That wasn't even his first one. Let me check what his first album was, which was probably in like 1999 or something like that. Had to be. The Block is Hot. 1999, like I said, the Block is Hot. And then 2000, Lights Out. And then this third one was 5 Degrees. And this is what put him on the map. This is what got him to the ranks of high level rap. The Carter and the Carter 2. The Carter 2 especially. That's his, like Michael Jackson. That's his Off the Wall. And the Carter 3 is his Thriller. If you can get the analogy. Oh boy, Greg S and Chris Cager going at each other. Y'all go ahead in that live chat. I'm not gonna stop you, but I have to disagree. He only came out. This is what Chris Cager said. He only came hot when hip hop was dying. Facts. That's not true. Hip hop is not it's not dead. Let me just make sure to say that. It could be dying. It may be on its way out. It could be taken over by a subgenre, drill. That may be the case. But what Lil Wayne had to say, he put it on the map. He put Louisiana to another level because Louisiana already had the bounce scene and already had, rappers like, other members like BG and, other people like Master P and Mystical and, the No Limit. And then, of course, within his camp, like I said, BG and people like Birdman and people like that. And he elevated it because he took it to a lyrical standpoint. Lil Wayne took it to a lyrical standpoint. You have to understand what his criteria was and what it still is. He's still performing. I just said he just needs to get printouts because the weed has gotten to his memory. He can't remember all the raps that he wrote in his head and not on paper, but in the studio it was all good. But when he's on that stage, he needs to remember his lyrics. Salute Greg X. I don't like emojis. If you didn't know that yet, remember tonight's goal. So I don't know what that emoji means. I'm not good with emojis, but I appreciate your responses. Oh my! Okay, now you're being funny. That was okay. The joke's on me. Ha ha ha! That was good. That was a good one. Your first good one in a while. I don't know what that. I still don't know what emoji. It's like you're happy, but you're like saying you're not. You're sure. And then I got the laughing ones. Okay, the crying, laughing. But I'm not sure if you're laughing at me. If you're laughing at me, you can laugh at me. I'm goofy. I'm dumb. I'm stupid. You can do whatever you want against me. I'm still going to get this paper. Okay, Chris Cager has come back and said he's a punching rapper. Just let him rap, then cut and paste trash. Completely out of touch, my friend. He's still active. He's continuing on his approach. And if you listen to Seeing Green, if you listen to Holly Grove versus Hollywood, you'll understand that he's still one of the best to ever do it. And still the best to ever do it. It's like if Kobe retired, then he, sadly passed away. But I always said that, Jay-Z is Michael Jordan and Lil Wayne is Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant took most of his ideas, his skills on the court, and made them like Jordan. And in certain ways, he surpassed Jordan. Jordan didn't have an 82-point game. Kobe did. Jordan didn't essentially get 2 rings by himself. I know he had Paul Gasol and a host of others, Fisher and everything like that. I'm not saying, I'm not trying to disrespect them, but I'm just giving them, I'm just giving a point of what Lil Wayne elevated, like Kobe elevated Michael Jordan's game. He emulated and then he elevated. Greg S. Did he steal Gilly the Kid's raps? I don't think he stole Gilly's raps. I don't think he did. I mean, I could be wrong. It could be. It's all alleged. If he did, um, I'm not too up on that fact. I'm not too clear on that. But he definitely has elevated what is known as hip hop. He's inspired other people. That's another thing too. Not only has he emulated Jay-Z, but he inspired people like Drake. He inspired people like Lil Bibby, like Da Baby, like Lil Baby. All these cats coming up in the game. He put batteries on their backs and told them to step up their lyrical game. I'm not going to say the full lines. I'm going to mess it up if I say it. But he said he was like, on one of his lines, I mean, and this is going back, to the time period where people say where he was high. Oh yeah, he was on point right there. But still, I'm just going to give him the lines. He said, you're flying with the birds while you're flying with I'm flying with the fishes and I'm sleeping with the birds. See, my world is different. See, he had different raps like that. He had out of the box, nobody even thinking about, going off on that tangent level of thinking. Nobody had that kind of bravado, that confidence to say something, that was out of the ordinary, something that, somebody corrected me. Flying with the fishes, swimming with the birds. And my world is different. See? Like he had a totally different approach on it was sky's the limit. He jacked the beat of Mike Jones song. But that was of course during his heyday. I mean, he has so many raps. I mean, if I want to talk about his heyday, you gotta talk about how he came in on the Brown Paper Bag Money song. When he said, he had hot lyrics. He said, Khaled took me in like a Miami. Khaled took me in like a door for Miami. And he just had different flows like that. Something like that. Something along those lines. Like nobody was expecting him to have that. He has such a different flow, a different way of presenting himself. And to say that he hasn't been hot since then is a gross understatement and a gross fallacy. It's a complete and utter fallacy. He represented something that was beyond what most people would recognize as true rap. And it seems like he would be just on the cusp of being great, but he's already attained greatness. I don't understand why the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame hasn't picked him as an inductee yet. I haven't understood that. He was eligible since 2019. Oh, wait a minute. It's 25 years. That's right. So 5, 9. Okay, so next year. He'll be eligible next year. We'll see. He will be in that category because they look at sales. If you haven't noticed that yet, the Hollywood Rock of Fame says, they look at sales because one thing equates to the other and the other doesn't equate to the one thing. You're not hot because you have sales. You have sales because you're hot. Vanilla Ice had sales. He broke open the doors for hip hop being in the mainstream. You have to give him that credit. Not the best rapper in the world, not the best lyricist or best anything really, but you have to give him that credit for being on the charts. And hip hop, you have to recognize that. And the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame recognizes that truthfully. So I want to correct myself. It's not 20 years, it's 25 years. So next year, 2024, I see the faces going up. I guess who that is. Courtney, stepping in, I think. But he took it to another level. And especially with Carter 3, that was his Thriller. He sold 1 million the first week. How many rappers can you name that has sold 1 million records in the first week? I'll wait. I want to make sure. I want to make sure. Somebody tell me. Because I want to know if Drake did. Because I don't think he did. I think he said close. Maybe he did like 800,000, 900,000. I don't think he did 1 million though. But he's destined for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as well. But and just look at that camp. Look at his business mind. I know I'm veering off a little bit, but I'm gonna go back. I'm just trying to circle what I'm saying about him and Jay-Z. He has a business mind about him. He saw Nicki Minaj. He saw Drake. He saw what their potential could be. They're future Hall of Famers. And I know some people will say, "Oh, well, that's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's not hip hop," but that is hip hop. They're included in hip hop. If you go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, Ohio, you will see a whole array of different hip hop styles and different people that have championed the culture, if you want to call it that, and have put on their back what it means to be in hip hop. That's what I'm talking about. And so you can talk about, if Gilly, soul beats to Wayne or not beats, lyrics, writings to Wayne. You can make that argument. I'm saying that he still had to deliver. He still had to make a whole album again and again and again and again. I think he's, if I'm not mistaken, he's on the Carter 6. That's his to be announced album. The Carter 6. That's how far his discography goes. Over 20 years. Over 20 years. And he's only, 40? Hold on. He's 40. Yeah, he's only 40. He's only 40 years old. He's got 20 years in the game. He started young. If you want to make another comparison, he's like a young Mike Jack. He started with a group, the Hot Boys. Then he broke off, got them cats off of him, did his own thing, started and blew up massively. Especially within the context of hip hop. I don't think anyone's ever done that. Came from a child star. What was he, like 17 or 18, or maybe 16 or 17. With the Hot Boys. And so many people that blew up after them, Juvenile and everything like that, Manny Fresh. It's what is so amazing about Lil Wayne's pedigree. What he represents. What his lyrics represent. He has complete concepts. He has whole ideas. In his latest album, The Funeral, you have to listen to that. He was paying tribute to Kobe Bryant. What did I say? 24. He has 24 seconds of silence. On the record. A lot of people gave this, mixed reviews. It was pretty much mixed. It was positive to mixed to positive. He had one single off his album called Shimmy. But he keeps going. He doesn't stop. He's got a deluxe edition. It's got 8 extra songs on top of 24 songs. That's his pedigree. That's what he's able to do. He's been able to do that ever since his inception. He's been able to say who he wants to be. Now you say, okay, he definitely, says the same thing over and over, but that's rap. That's Jay-Z. Says the same thing over and over and over again, just in a new way. I sell crack. I stabbed Lance on Rivera. I got a wife, Beyonce. I you know after I sold crack, I got into the rap game. That's what Lil Wayne does. He talks about his many excursions with women. He talks about how his daughter. He talks about his daughter. He talks about his ability to make money. It continues. It doesn't stop. It's like a faucet. It's like a faucet of water. Like he has continuous ideas, just flowing all at one time. Just keeps going and going and going and going and going. All kinds of flows, all kinds of different ways of saying the words. And he's perfected that. He's become an expert at that. He's been and then the sad part is it becomes like he puts the water in a tray and puts it in the freezer, and it becomes ice. And he doesn't know what to say at a performance. He can't remember the words because he didn't write it down, because he's smoking pounds of weed. He's doing all kinds of stuff like that. And it gets to a point where he doesn't have what it takes to remember his own rhymes. And that's partially because he doesn't write them down. It's ironic. What makes, it interesting and, oh, wow, he didn't write down his rhymes. That's amazing. That's cool. That's great. And at the same time, like Jay-Z says in his jokes, I've created a whole monster. Because now a whole generation of kids coming up after me are saying, I don't need a pen and pad. I can just write down in my mind. No, I just go where in the booth and put it all down on the mic. And then you get out of that booth and you're on stage and you're looking around and you're like, I don't even remember what I said. Because you didn't write it down. Now, somebody like Jay-Z's pedigree, of course, he can remember. He recalled how his first performance at his first gig, he forgot all his lyrics too. But that was when he was writing them down. See, he could do the reverse. He stopped writing them down so he could remember. And like, he's not known for smoking weed. He has smoked weed in the past, of course. He has said it on different tracks and and probably in different interviews. But what I'm saying is that Lil Wayne chose to be, one of the greats. And, even though his record sales may have slumped a little bit since, especially 2008, he hasn't had a great opening week sales since 2008. That's a fact. That I will not argue. But to say that he's whack or that he, fell off in any way lyrically, you have to really, you have to really analyze those kind of statements and check them for their validity. Because Wayne definitely has what it takes to be one of the best microphone controllers ever. And, because he took it upon himself to, pattern himself after Jay-Z, like Kobe did Jordan, that should just be a signal to whom, to anyone who doesn't have a clue what is going on. It's a problem within hip hop culture where we have to tear each other down. We have to tear. Oh, well, he's whack. He fell off. He's garbage. He's corny. This is a legend. Lil Wayne is a legend, and he has to be, put upon a pedestal to be regarded and revered as such. Someone that is to be not messed around with and definitely regarded as something that is good for the game and has always been somebody rising towards greatness. Now, let's see if I can rise towards greatness. You see my little segue there with my stories. This is where people go off the tracks. This is where it gets to zero on the live chat. But I hope you enjoy the stories and the rebroadcast. All right, here we go. Here's a story. I like this. This is my favorite time of the night. This is my own stories. Let me give it a short introduction. These are all written stories by Skyler Saunders. Any reproduction of or rehashing will be met with punishment to the fullest extent of the law under copyright laws. Thank you. Just a disclaimer. All right, here we go. Curl this way. The first all-black Olympic team in history steps on the ice. The first black curling team took to the ice. The committee had forbidden the audience to launch into jeers to throw them off items on the ice. They disobeyed. They called every slur and hurled every racial epithet they could imagine. Nonetheless, the team kept winning. They pushed a stone and moved along the ice, and they swept with such vigor and attention that they surprised the crowd. They began to cheer. Even as the team lost, they received cheers because they had withstood the hate. Every moment felt like victory, but they accepted no consolation or participation awards or prizes. None. Huh? Like that, right? All right, this is part of the little this is part of a little this is just a little bit of a what am I trying to say? This is a bit of a continuance. This is a it's a continuance of the other stories. That's all I can say. McTwisted. A snowboarder performs an amazing feat. Snow flew in the air. The mount shimmered in the light as the particles caught air. The snowboarder performed double McTwist 1260 maneuvers back to back to back. He landed the next move as well. He finally came to a halt to uproarious applause. The sportscasters laughed. The correspondents cheered and tried to remain impartial. He took off his helmet to reveal his skin color of cherry wood. The applause increased. You've done what was thought to be impossible. What do you have to say? There is no God, but thank God I'm this talented. Going back to you, Gus. I like that one. I like that. See, it's zero. It's zero now. Nobody's ready for stories right now. It's okay. It's not a problem to me. I'm gonna still do the stories because I got to get them out there somewhere. His excellent effort. A luge athlete does the most. There was no room for error in the luge. It was all about perceiving the next turn and knowing when to turn. With each shift, he ensured that he would be taken to another place within the confined space. He felt like his body had melted to the sled and that he could have the best time. He won gold as he passed the record by 0.6 of a second. His blackness didn't mean anything, but his talent sure did. He kept this in mind as the crowd cheered and hooted in support of his excellent efforts. He smiled. I like that one. Nobody else likes it. It's straight coconuts over here. Nobody's coming in. It was at the highest point I saw was 5. I'm at 0 right now. That's okay. That is all right, because you're my bum. And we'll get by. We'll get by. All right. If I say anything else, it'll be a copyright strike, and Mr. Terrain will definitely take his money. All right, this is going on. Continuing this cycle, this idea. This one's called The facts of the win. A ski jumper talks about his current position. At the press conference, Desmond Polite wore his gold medals around his neck and the American flag draped his shoulders. He kept laughing and exhaling sharply. Desmond, what does it feel like to be the first multiple gold-winning black athlete in ski jumping? Firstly, I consider myself to be an athlete who happens to be black. I don't define myself in any other way than that. Okay, so what is it like to know that you have so many gold medals? They're just a reminder to the work that I put in to get here. I say life is good. Like that one. Continue with the same theme. That's the word I was trying to find. Theme. And nobody is watching, but I got 2 likes still. Like a swan, a figure skater reminds some and reveals to others her true color. She skated with the sheer brilliance that made her competitors either jeer or cheer depending on their mood. As one of the few black figure skaters, she showed her skills and not her skin color. In fact, she wore a full bodysuit that covered all of her skin. It wasn't out of embarrassment or denial, but that she elevated above the sport. The gold medals were in her mind platinum and diamonds. She kept her composure and self-respect when people went up to her with their angry words. She continued on when people gasped as she displayed her skin. Like that one. Much to say, the power behind the bobsleigh team generated talk. Much has been said about bobsled teams. There was even a moderately successful movie about a Jamaican team based on reality, but it is actually bobsleigh. The modern team knew what to do. The American team was composed of all African Americans. The men had studied the past efforts of all the gold-winning teams since the inception of the sport. They knew when it was time to make the best of the sport. They had fun while winning and winning and winning. All their efforts trained on getting the gold. They won with their strength of character and ability. Like that one. Time for faces. All black hockey teams take to the ice. The professional major league hockey teams met. Everyone on the ice, including the referee, wore black faces. The novelty seemed to be astounding, but it wasn't to the players. They knew the competition meant more than biological chemicals. They spent the 3 periods racking up scores. By the end of the contest, they had racked up 12 points apiece. The last shot came down to Whitaker Surson. He shot and the puck passed the red line. The joy that ran through the home arena engulfed the winning squad and spectators. When each of them realized it, they celebrated more. Like that one. Nobody else cares. That's fine. I'm not gonna get mad. I'm having a good time. It's good. It's good. I'm watching this All-Star game. You know, I'm doing sports. You know, even though they're winter sports, it's still fun due to the theme. All right, here's continuing with the theme. Selly, let the celebrations begin. The all-black hockey team that played in the Major League Professional League dominated. They moved swiftly, deftly, with might. They kept their minds focused on earning the cup. Journalists took their journey to the finals as a fluke, but they silenced the naysayers with their intelligence. It kept them from being castigated and set aside. They persevered through all the pain and misfortune and scored more goals in the finals game than any team in history of hockey in America. When they had time to sally, they knew what it meant to be exuberant and recognize their greatness. Sally. Sally. All right, here we go. An entrepreneur seeks to use the Earth's natural energy sources to power his dreams. No capes, goggles, utility belts, or superpowers resided in Finley Doubleday. Just a business suit under a lab coat. Okay, maybe there were goggles, but only in the lab. This cashew-colored man held the coal in his hand. I'm trying to make coal cool. It's been so maligned from Christmas gifts to environmentalists. It is just this carbon with a wide array of applications. We ought to treasure it. His white suit and boot covers, one could say, constituted his uniform. He just wore it to protect himself from the various specimens available to him in the lab. I like that one. Different idea of superheroes. People just left, just flocked out, just like, I'm good. I'm going to sign off from this. I don't really feel like hearing these stories, but I feel like saying them. So if you're not going to listen to them, fine with me. I'm not going to be mad at you. When the turbine stops spinning, an engineer reconsiders his power source. Wind felt like a cool friend caressing the battered soul. But when it stopped, so did the wind turbines. Now there, of course, was a backup. Fossil fuels. Hardy Seamston looked at the wind patterns and knew exactly what to do. He dumped all the plans for further turbines and embraced the beauty of oil, natural gas, and coal. The people dismantled the turbines and replaced the area with coal factories in just under a year. The parts from the turbines had to be converted to machine parts for the plants. Seamston took his life seriously. He did that on purpose. Loyal to the oil, an oil magnate rejoices in the numbers. 22-year-old tycoon Maximus Terrell looked at the figures. He scanned the notes as if he were some kind of bird of prey looking for a meal. I really got to edit this stuff when it comes through. 1 second. I can't go on without it being edited. He scanned. The oil his company produced generate more bullions or billions? I don't. What's going on here? What's somebody playing a joke on me right now? Oh my god! I haven't really look at my stuff. Billions for him and his shareholders. It kept his mind intact. He kept his thoughts together. He smiled. A silent laugh escaped from him. All the work, the anguish, and the opposition melted away with the figures. He kept plying through the data. It permitted him the chance to be completely in control of his destiny. He savored every figure and felt glad about it all. Once again, zero, just nothing, just a knot, just coconuts. Nothing. Nobody listening to these stories. That's all right. They're in my rebroadcasts. That's fine. I challenge you to listen to these stories. I challenge you. I promise you. You're going to like them. I'm going to make you like them. Substitution. An oil CEO wants to switch up the words in an advertisement. Algae? That's what they're pushing now? It's in the commercial? Stop production on the next advertisement. Harold Pennington addressed the director of the commercial. With the understanding of the landscape being fraught with alternative fuels, Pennington reminded himself he stood as the CEO of a major oil corporation. With that came the consideration of this commercial. He wanted no wind turbines, no solar panels, and definitely no algae. Pennington stepped onto the set and ripped up the script. Our slogan is, "We sell oil." Show that in the ad with a nozzle inserted in a gas guzzler. Goddamn algae. I really like this story. I really, because that's always been in my mind. I always wanted to express that, and I had the chance to do it. So it's evident. A cement billionaire confronts a pest. Billionaire cement tycoon Nadir Jenkinson looked at the miscreants chaining themselves to his machines. They had broken through the doors and tied up security. He ventured out of his office armed with nothing but his own bravado and confidence. His black skin looked like the combination of fossil fuels that helped to form his cement. In the time period, he walked to the leader of the group. We want, I don't care. The police will be here momentarily. You can be taken out by force or get the hell out on your own power. It's all up to you. Smiles. I like that. I really like that one. That was dope. I like that. The Pro Energy Knowledge System. A billionaire brings his ideas to his home in Delaware. Cool air from the air conditioner blew in Newark, Delaware homes. In Mali, Africa, no air conditioners blew air. The people through there just wanted to have sustenance and enough money to spend on formula and tools for cooking food. Marsden Benton had just arrived from Mali and wanted his home to be increased and nowhere near the quality of life, standard of living, or life expectancy. Benton used his billions to improve every home in Delaware with the best fossil fuel-powered air conditioning units. He took seriously the capacity for electricity to aid the individuals who wanted cool air. That was in the pocket. That was decent. Growth. An analyst finds joy in numbers. The solar panels and the wind turbines look powerful against the lush green background. This is all a facade. However, they generated their measly amounts of energy nonetheless. With the growth of more fracking industry thanks to Caxby Coburn, he knew that there existed an abundance of fuel just below the soil that could extract natural gas. As he studied the graphs related to the points where the equipment fractured the earth, he felt elation, a joy unbearable and impossible to fully express. His way of dealing with naysayers consisted of showing the data, the facts. He knew it all. Just going through these stories. Extremes. A concerned citizen fights for fossil fuels. Maddie Houghton coughed intermittently, the same way the wind turbine's function left her in the dark and coughing from the rhinovirus. She died. Months later, the heat became unbearable in Newark, Delaware. The solar panels worked only when the sun shined. Too many cloudy, muggy days passed, and Oscar Century sweated and ultimately perished. Tag Timberland looked at cases like these and pushed for fossil fuels to be implemented in the city. He received 3 rejections. But running on the might of the empowered world, he remained steadfast. On the 4th try, he showed information and won his final case. Hey, 2 people like that. That's nice. Myself and someone else. That's cool. Someone also likes this one. High-powered. A conflict between 2 CEOs occurs. It took too long. The blade being replaced on the wind turbine kept disconnecting from the larger apparatus. All of the crew members became frustrated. Others grew antsy. They wanted the thing to just pop in the socket like an arm or a wing. The blade gave them grief. Then the thing fell to the ground, shattering like a piece from a toy. But there was nothing to play with here. The rival of the turbine project, Gaddy McHale, didn't laugh, but he could have. He called the CEO of the wind turbine company, Alec Burnham. I just told you. I like that one. That was funny. He said, I just told you. Around the table, a CEO addresses a crisis. At the head of the table was CEO Zach Trilby. Around the table were the CEO, COO, CTO, CFO, and other members of the C-suite. Now we're being challenged by unreliable, unsustainable energy sources. What we have to do is show how fossil fuels make up the majority of what the empowered world is. He cleared his throat. We have to figure that what we want is the capability to bring being up the fact that our industry is not addicted to oil, natural gas, and coal. It's a business of red and white blood cells as applied to gears and sprockets. I like that. Things bring up the fact. Walk by smell, not by faith. I like the title already. Two Marine officers consider reality. In the bleeding cold, Marine First Lieutenant Johnson Schur and Captain Vander Swifton sat inside a trailer with a broken heater. They worked on the weapon system drill. I say that it is a detriment to mental stability, Schur claimed. No, I reap great understanding and guidance from the word, Swifton asserted. Their breaths appeared in the air like apparitions of me in the night. I say, walk by smell and not by faith. When you can do that, the keys to the structure of the universe are in your hands. You can't say that to me now. I can, sir. Like that one. That was dope. This is one I always think about just going on my daily life. A couple attempt to relax. Specifics. The husband and wife relaxed on the beach in Rehoboth, Delaware. Cecil and Paulina tried to anyway. Ideas just kept biting into their consciousness like sand fleas. That's where you get into trouble. Specifics. Is God wearing an Aloha shirt and Bermuda shorts? Does he drive a Lamborghini and flash a platinum watch? Paulina asked. Let's just enjoy our time off, okay? Cecil asked. No, I'm serious. Is God tall? Is he short? What does he do during the week? We know he gets off during the weekend. Those prayers. Does he have angels that report them to him? No way. Love that. Always been kicking around in my mind. Want to make sure I express myself. I had a chance to do it thanks to vocal.media, which isn't perfect, but darn near perfect. They're still like B plus A minus territory. You know, for the most part, they're very good. You can put up whatever you want, whenever you want, and see what happens. See if you get views, see if you get likes, see if you get mentions and comments. Still, yeah, I don't play around. I like that. That's honesty. You don't like it, you ain't got to listen to it. I respect that. Didn't get my goal and not getting my goal so far tonight. That's fine. That's okay. God damn. 2 colleagues consider a game. 3 people like this. 2 physicists play an experimental game. Okay, so there is no a God. Why is there so much beauty in the world? A God seems random and wholly arbitrary. It's absurd. Dr. Steven Sillick pointed out. Yes, but in this game you have to ask another question. Who's rolling the bones? Dr. Roger Wagner observed. Of course there's no entity playing with all existence. It's right there. Why worry about a God with such wonders in the universe? We just edge God out. Ego. And man can then stand upright, braving the world. That's all I'm saying. Love that goddamn. Love it. Love goddamn. Bruised for iniquities. Challenger appears at Bible study. At a Bible study in Newark, Delaware, Oscar Grovington asked a simple question to the 12 or so people there. So is Jesus still wounded from being on the cross? He was supposed to be wounded for transgression and bruised for iniquities, but he showed Thomas on earth. So did he ascend back into heaven with his injuries? The pastor, Reverend Tipton Cossack, mumbled and fumbled. Well, there should be holes from the nails in the place where he was pierced. In heaven? Yes, I think that's the case. Even if that were true, it's ghosts, ghouls. I like that. And this looks like to be our final one, or at least a few more left. Maybe I'll get to that. There's one person watching right now. Sunshine to you, sir. Spirit Smooth Tunes. Respect to you. Evening is $10. Salute to you. I got this last story. Two people in here. Spirit Smooth Tunes. I'm doing my stories, which had 0 viewers, but I'm gonna do this last story. I think it's my last story. I'm gonna make sure. It should be. I'm gonna make 100% sure. It should be though. It's called Ungodly. A speaker talks about a life-changing book. So you believe in an ancient book, Trenton Whitlock announced. That's great. What if you were introduced to a more modern tome? The audience began whispering. There must have been 50,000 of them. I want to introduce to some and present to others a book that revolutionized my existence. A woman in her mid-20s with high cheekbones and even higher heels walked across the stage to applause. This book made me a non-believer in the theory of God. Now I know what I'm doing and why I do it without the crutch of faith. I'm here. Salute spirit. Truth to you and your whole existence. Everything that is good will come to you. Tell me what you think about the stories, though, before you go. I respect you. I saw your goal has been reached. Thanks to Spirit McCroy. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I truly respect you and I acknowledge you. And let me get this last story in. Still, last story tonight. All right, here we go. Last one. The atheist's prayer has 3 likes to it. A man reflects on the power of the earth. He stood on to his feet, his eyes open and his head tilted upward. He opened his mouth. Earthly realm, hallowed be your name. You have begun and continue to be my place of work and rest. You are my only and the best. Until I explore even more, I will be a productive being in this world. I will trade with my fellow man and woman and reap benefits from your beautiful bounty. Mountains serve me along with the water bodies and plains. It is all for me in my selfish way. I now appreciate that I can exploit you forever. That is where I will end tonight's sermon. And thank you for everybody that came through. Greg S., Chris Cager, Spirit, of course. Thank you so much. I appreciate everything you've done. And people got to get up to Spirit's level. That's all I got to say. Just consider what what Spirit has done, and you'll see. Just consider the fact that I reached my goal because of Spirit's donation. Just remember that. And that's all I'm going to say. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Check out the rebroadcast. Check me out in the community section, and Mr. Troy Starts Rings, his page, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care.